Hi, I'm Picca. I'm an intuitive animal communicator. People often ask me, how do I do it? I find it very difficult to put names or words to the process, as I feel people can easily judge you or box you. But I think the easiest would be to refer to clairsenses. You've got the clairvoyance, which is you get images or impressions, or else there's the clairaudience, words coming through, and then also you've got the clairsentience, which is the emotion, the feeling. Sometimes I get a physical feeling within my body, or other times I just get a knowing of the feeling. Before I start my work, I give thanks to the absolute privilege of being the voice for animals. I set the intention for the entire family, everybody involved around the reading, to have a positive outcome, for the human family as well as the animal family, to all live harmonious and enjoy each other's company to the best of their abilities. I do a aura painting diagram, which I start getting information, and then I sort of draw up a profile. I suppose that's the best one can actually describe it, where I go to the personality, the self-esteem, the health, environment, and communication skills. So to touch on that, I would say if you look at the physical diet, which is usually health and diet, I might pick up a discomfort in the belly, which is often diet related. So some pets are allergic to some ingredients in the pet food, which the owner can then adjust to make them more comfortable. Then there's also, for instance, I did a reading for a dog who developed a skin allergy. He scratched himself to pieces, and actually what came out was that there was a family member that often visited them, and it was a know-it-all, and he knew best and knows everything, and this irritated the dog to the point where the dog started scratching himself, which developed into a skin allergy, which leads to communication skills, because that is how animals actually listen to the conversations around them. Then there's also, for instance, words and images that would come through. Yeah, one particular horse comes to mind. That was quite a nice one. The reason for the reading was that the horse went lame, and the owner was interested in possibly looking at the what was actually the cause of the injury. So I sat down, started the process, and I just got the word salt, and it was salt, 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 and I actually had to calm the horse and say, here, look, I wrote it down, I'll communicate to your owner, so let's move on. The image the horse gave me was this low angle of a concrete slope that was green and slimy and quite yucky. And when I told the owner in our discussion, she said yes, they actually did find the horse in that section of the stables, and that was where the salt was kept. I had the privilege of visiting the stables, and also I thought I want to go and see what this horrendous green slimy slope looks like, and it wasn't. It was concrete and it was sort of steep, but it could be slippery when wet, yes, especially for horses who shoot, but it wasn't as grimy as the horse perceived it. So that was quite an interesting one. Yeah, love horses. Very nice to communicate with. Another horse, for instance, the mother, her daughter is very keen on show jumping, and she and the horse does well at home, but as soon as they actually get into the competitive ring, they sort of fall a bit apart. So the horse communicated to me that the rider leans to a left, so on landing they're both off balance, which causes a problem. So yes, it's amazing how animals can assist us. Yes, horses are very, very serving, very forthcoming with information, easy to do. Very nice, yeah. Animals who's passed, I often get requests to just give the owners comfort in knowing that the animal is happy. And also I get the question of, is the animal around them? Can the animal give them a sign? So the first part is the animal's passing. Animals live close to nature, and the cycle of nature is birth, survival, death. So for animals to pass over, it's quite natural to them. We try to make them as comfortable as possible in their old age, but at the end they accept death, and they accept that they will pass over. The sign she wanted, the dog showed me that, said to me he was present when something broke. In conversation, the owner told me that she went for a walk and actually picked up this most precious shell, and she carried it home with great care, and when she reached her house the phone rang, and she put it down on the table, and with that motion it actually smashed into a million pieces. So that brought a great comfort to know that he's still around and he's still with her. Often when I do aura readings for people, I also get animals that's passed on that would like to let them know that they are still around. One particular dog was an Alsatian that wanted his owners to know that he's still with the children, he's still protecting the children, although he's on the other side. Yes, wonderful. Animals that's passed are always, the readings are light and happy, and there's a feeling of freedom. Wonderful to do. Then you often get people who just wants to know what their animals think and what they do when they're not at home. I had this couple that had 3 cats, of which one was this beautiful Persian, and with the name Ava Gardner, and well, I refer to as Dame Ava because she was just this madam of note. And the first time I made contact, she was like, on her time she would speak to me, and second time around we made contact, and she quickly went into telling me that she dislikes dirty bowls, dirty eating stations, and no other cats will share her bowl, which food she liked, which of the selection of the taste she didn't like. And she sort of, was quite a madam. So in conversation to the owners, they had a good giggle because they said, she is like the madam of the household and doesn't mix with the other cats and spend the whole day grooming herself. So yes, that was quite the superior cat of the family. That was a nice one. Rehoming, yes. Rehoming animals or adopted animals, the ideal situation would be for me to be involved in the process before the animal gets moved into its new environment, new home, just to prepare the animal. Although if a problem occurs once the animal's been rehomed, it's often the fear of, they're anxious and they're fearful of going back to where they come from, often if it's a rescue case, and then it's to really instill this absolute compassion of the owners for the dog, to say this is your new home, and their intention is to give you the best they can offer and for all to live happily, and also to become a family member. Yes, animals are family members, although it's owners, humans, dogs, cats, horses, but it's still, they see it as a family, and there's a hierarchy system. So often that's also the problem that comes up, is the animal does not quite understand, especially being rehomed, where it fits in a family hierarchy. So that's also a point that I actually often work on. Long distance, yes, I work off a photograph, which is wonderful because then it actually gives me, I can create my own environment to focus undisturbed, and I get no preconceived ideas or the owner's interference. So it's great. I often visit the animals after the reading, if it's possible, but it's not necessary. I've worked, for instance, with a dog in China. The owner found this absolute petrified, malnutrition, mangy street dog in a yard over the Chinese New Year, and she said they couldn't cope because it was 2 days of fireworks and crackers. And she said their whole family was sort of trying to get quite anxious. Eventually she managed to get to handle the dog and treated it and fed it and groomed it, but the dog lived under the couch, still in that sort of anxious energy. So I worked with the dog, and also once again to let the dog know this is the new home. They accept him into the family and he's part of the family. And she emailed me back to say it's the most amazing thing she's ever witnessed, because this dog has actually undergone a metamorphosis and is much more part of the family now. So it's always wonderful to get confirmation. Other animals I've worked with has been from monkeys to rats to cattle. Interesting, what was shown to me with cattle was that they also have a family set up within the group, and often when cattle get sold off or sent to the abattoir, the separation anxiety is quite high within the family setup. So if farmers would take the time to actually just separate the cattle, the ones that's leaving the property or leaving the group, to separate paddock or camp or whatever, just so the animals have time to actually say their goodbye, and then the process would be so much more smoother and easier for everybody involved. That was wonderful, wonderful to share that and to be shown how cattle work within the family system. Each time an owner contacts me for a reading, I'm just so grateful that with each reading it will be discussed with other people, other family members, dinner table, whatever, and vets hopefully, that people can just become aware that animals can communicate. They do have feelings, they have emotions, they have their own perception of family, and they get nervous and they get anxious often with animals whose owners are ill. I pick that up as well. So they pick up all those emotions, and they are just there to be with you, to love you and comfort you. Thank you.